This anime tells the story of the most powerful vampire in the demon world. He is named Staz. He is one of the leaders of several regions there. In general, vampires are very fond of human blood, but unlike Staz, he prefers Japanese things, manga, anime games, and action figures. He even spends his time playing games in his room alone. Then, there was his subordinate named Deku, who discovered the existence of a human girl lost in the demon world. Knowing there were humans, Staz became excited and asked Deku to bring her to his presence immediately. The girl was named Tanagi Fuyumi. Once there, Staz was so happy that his heart wanted to explode at the beauty of Fuyumi. They also talked to each other, and then Deku gave the news that a bully was rampaging there. But Staz did not care about that because he wanted to be alone with Fuyumi. However, Fuyumi suggested Staz see his subordinates. Seeing Fuyumi's eyes excited his vampire blood.
お前可愛いよすっげえ好きどっちかっていうと守りたいそうすっごい守りたいお前の頼みなら何でも聞いちゃう
Staz also accepted her suggestion and immediately went to his subordinate's place. But while leaving, Staz did not realize that monster plants were heading to Fuyumi's place. Then Staz calmly approached someone weak, making a commotion here, blowing out its heart easily without needing to touch it.
俺は吸血鬼だだがニンニクも食えるし十字架も怖くはないのだあ、しんどいお疲れっす
After all that, Staz and Deku returned to Fuyumi, but Fuyumi had been swallowed by a plant monster, and only left the bones and clothes. But it turns out that Fuyumi is still there as a ghost. Seeing Fuyumi already a ghost makes Staz not excited anymore. Previously, Staz was very passionate when Fuyumi was still human. Therefore, Staz intends to revive Fuyumi as a human. Although he had wanted to find the Dragon Ball, Fuyumi remembered that she had entered the demon world through a portal that connected the human and demon worlds. Knowing they immediately headed there, Staz wanted to enter the human world with Fuyumi. Before that, Staz stopped by his friends Sadie and Mamejuru. Staz asked them to check if they could pass through the portal. After checking, it turns out they can enter there, but they can't stay there for long. Even Staz, as the region's boss, certainly can't leave, otherwise, there will be a struggle for the region's boss. Fortunately, one of his subordinates can imitate Staz perfectly. He is named Yoshida, so Yoshida will replace Staz when he goes to the human world. Meanwhile, Fuyumi felt doubtful and did not believe Staz would revive her. Deku explains that even though Staz looks like an otaku who only plays games and reads manga, he always keeps his promises and is even a true man admired by everyone there. Then they started to enter the portal. Once there, they were in Fuyumi's room, which looked neat. Then, they met Fuyumi's father. He was angry and suspicious of Staz. But Staz immediately sprayed vampire saliva liquid on him. He instantly became calmer and controlled by Staz. Then Staz looked very happy in the human world, and they stopped by Fuyumi's school. There, Fuyumi felt sad because she had realized that she was not human but a ghost and a resident of the demon world.
Amen だよお前はもっと魔族だって自覚を持て
That beat Fuyumi, and Fuyumi had no desire to live again. So that made her body disappear. Fuyumi became scared and didn't want to disappear. Therefore Staz gave his blood to Fuyumi to suck, and thanks to that, Fuyumi could maintain her beautiful body.
お前を生き返らせるその日まで俺がお前の吸血鬼になってやる
Then, when returning to Fuyumi's room, suddenly there was a boing boing woman. She was named Hydra Bell, a treasure hunter. Bell owns the portal and can even move anyone with her frame. Because they, without permission, used her portal, Bell also asked them for a costly fee. Otherwise, Fuyumi was a hostage and killed in Bell's hands. As a result, because Staz had no money, he was asked to take an object from somewhere. Once there, it turned out that the object was Underpants Legend, who had never been washed for centuries.
このパンツは人を選ぶの。
は？とんだ茶番だぜ。
After being defeated, it turned out that Bell did not need the underpants, but just wanted to test the strength of Staz. Bell told him that he knew a book to revive humans, but Bell said that the book had been sold to the eastern part of the demon world. The region there is led by Wolf, a childhood friend of Staz. Then, Staz decided to return to the demon world and meet his subordinates because the eastern region was far enough. Therefore, he wanted to use the fastest train. Also, Staz brought Mamejuru so that he could monitor the conditions around them. But unexpectedly, they met Wolf on the way. They met each other and seemed to have a good relationship.
久しぶりだな、ウルフボーイ。
Then Staz explained that he was looking for a book on resurrecting humans, but Wolf didn't know that even the area there was vast. Of course, it will be difficult to find one book there. As a result, Staz challenges Wolf to boxing. If the Wolf loses, he helps find the book. If Staz loses, then Fuyumi will belong to Wolf. Incidentally, Wolf was also attracted by Fuyumi's beauty, so Wolf accepted the challenge.
私、一体何するんです？
かわいいぜ、守ってやりてえ。絶対に負けるわけにはいかねえ。
Then, the boxing battle began. Wolf immediately launched a lot of punches and slapped his opponent until he was thrown back. Even though he was beaten to death, Staz was able to heal all his wounds quickly. While Wolf was exhausted after beating Staz, it turned out that at the beginning of the match, Staz had stuck his teeth into Wolf, so that his strength is sucked and used as a recovery for Staz. But Wolf remained hard and turned into half a beast. Wolf asked the purpose of Staz looking for the book, and Staz explained that he wanted to revive Fuyumi. But Wolf didn't believe that because Staz was cruel and couldn't possibly do something for the sake of others. The words made Staz upset. He would have almost killed him if only Fuyumi hadn't stopped him. Seeing Fuyumi crying, Bell immediately moved them all to another place.
女の子を泣かせた奴らに教えてやるもんか。これよりこれ。
これは
特別にタダでいいよ。
てめえ、初めから持っていやがったのかよ。
Then Bell gave the book to Staz, but they couldn't read it. After investigation, it turned out that the book's author was Staz's older brother, Braz. Then Staz looked scared and didn't want to see Braz, but Wolf forced him to find a way to revive Fuyumi as a human. Bell opened the portal to take Staz to the Acropolis, where Braz was, but because he was suddenly kicked by Wolf, Staz ended up entering Bell's room. While they are together, Bell tries to seduce Staz and confirms that Staz is still hiding his true power.
ねえ、私じゃダメ？
やめろ。
あれ。
Staz told his past that Braz always wanted to kill him in various ways. One day, Braz shot a bullet right into Staz's heart, so that his magic power becomes sealed and makes him unable to use all his abilities. Knowing that Bell felt attracted to Staz and even had feelings of love for him because Bell liked a strong man. On the other hand, they were relaxing, waiting for news from Staz. Suddenly, they panicked after seeing Fuyumi's legs start to disappear. Wolf immediately took her to a doctor who was there. Then Bell drove Staz to the Acropolis, where Staz accidentally met his sister Liz, the head of the prison guard.
さばける日を。
ジャッジメント！インパクト！
Staz was immediately thrown into the prison and locked up there. It turns out that there is a button to get out of the prison, but he must defeat the two strongest zombies first. Staz was always beaten to a pulp by these zombies, but Staz did not give up and continued challenging them. On the other hand, they arrived at a doctor named Franken. Wolf forced Franken to recover Fuyumi. After almost being beaten by Wolf, Franken decided to treat Fuyumi with a special medicine. Thanks to that, her body can return, but it only lasts for a while. Then, Franken asked Wolf to defeat his artificial demon first. It turns out that Franken had previously created a mighty artificial demon named Akimu. Akimu escaped from there and aimed to find strong demon limbs so that they could be fused with his body. That way, he could become a perfect demon. If Wolf manages to defeat him, Franken promises to be loyal to him while providing the best medicine for Fuyumi. On the other hand, Staz was bent and helpless. Suddenly, Braz came to see him. It looks like they have a close relationship and get along. But seeing that made Liz jealous of their closeness and launched an attack on them. But the attack was easily parried by Braz. After that, Braz accepted his request to tell him how to resurrect humans, but Staz had to defeat Franken's artificial demon Akimu first. By releasing a bullet in Staz's heart, there is a possibility that Staz can defeat Akimu. In the past, Staz had extreme magic power. But after using his power, he fainted and even endangered his life. Therefore, Braz sealed the power with a bullet. After the bullet was removed from his heart, Staz immediately became stronger and even eliminated the strongest zombies there easily. After regaining his strength, Staz promised to fight Akimu's demons. He immediately headed there by free-falling from a height. Wolf had already met Akimu and fought each other there because he felt cornered. Wolf used his original form as a wolf demon, but it only lasted 3 minutes. At the last moment, Wolf managed to chop Akimu into pieces, not only that Staz had also arrived there. Akimu was still alive and could even control his body at will. Because Wolf had run out of strength, Staz would replace him to fight Akimu. Without further ado, Staz immediately attacked him quickly. After Akimu was thrown to a place far enough away, they could fight each other there.
一撃だ。一撃で消し飛ぶようなでけえのを一発ぶちかます。
Staz used Goku's power against him, but Akimu quickly stopped that, even insulting him. Of course, Staz became angry when his favorite anime was insulted. Finally, he turned into Naruto Baryon mode while using the heart explosion move.
今決めたとこだ。必ず殺す。はい。そして別れた。あばよ。変態継ぎはぎ野郎。
Unfortunately, Akimu managed to escape from there. Bell had predicted this and immediately separated his body into several parts. It turns out that previously, someone helped Franken make the artificial demon. Then Braz and Liz came to meet them there. Liz immediately sent Franken and Akimu to prison for disturbing the peace of the demon world. As Braz promised to revive Fuyumi, they immediately headed to where Fuyumi was. Seeing Fuyumi's body begin to disappear, Staz gave his blood to Fuyumi so that she could recover. Then Braz asked him to bring the original body of Fuyumi that remained. Then Bell gave Fuyumi an emergency tool so she could call her with it if Fuyumi got into trouble. After Staz gave his skull to Braz, Braz wanted to take a sample of Fuyumi's magic for the awakening process to turn magic into a human spirit and put the spirit into her body. That's why magic samples are needed. Because Fuyumi's clothes blocked the sampling process, Staz forcibly opened her clothes.
ちょっと万歳しろ。
はい。
せーの、万歳。入って。
ああ、見ない方がいい。最低な兄貴たちの共同作業だ。
After finishing, Braz immediately went home to do research to resurrect Fuyumi, while Liz will stay with them for a while. Although Liz was initially sad because she lived with Staz, buying dolls, watching anime, and reading manga made her happier. Liz even took a bath together with Fuyumi and made their relationship closer to each other. So Liz was no longer lonely thanks to living with them. However, the next day, Fuyumi suddenly disappeared from there. There is a letter written not to look for her whereabouts. Knowing this, Staz confirmed that Fuyumi had been kidnapped, so Deku and Yoshida immediately searched. Not only that, but Liz explained that Braz had previously placed a tracking device on Fuyumi's body. She was asked to return immediately so Braz could track Fuyumi's whereabouts. Shortly after Deku gave information that they had found someone suspicious, even Yoshida managed to imitate the face of the perpetrator. It turned out that the perpetrator was heading south. When she wanted to meet Braz, Liz was suddenly stopped by the Demon World Police, Burroughs, for breaking the rules by entering and leaving the Demon World without permission. In the end, Braz was detained by Burroughs and taken to the police station, while Liz was left alone at home. Liz tried to track Fuyumi's whereabouts but still couldn't find her because Fuyumi was in a different dimension. Meanwhile, Staz had arrived in the southern region and immediately met the boss there. Staz learned that the culprit was Hydra Nell or Bell's younger brother. On the other hand, while eating ramen because Fuyumi hasn't eaten at all, Nell tends to give the ramen to her. However, seeing the opportunity, Fuyumi came out of there and rang the bell.
今のは
Knowing this, Bell immediately checked and confirmed that his brother had kidnapped Fuyumi. Bell asked Nell why he was doing this. It turned out that Nell was ordered by their mother to bring Fuyumi home. Since it was a request from her mother, Bell had no choice but to stop Staz, who had arrived there, so that Nell could escape with Fuyumi to their house. Bell immediately took Staz to a place so they could fight each other there. Bell seems jealous because Staz cares so much about Fuyumi, even though Bell also wants to get his attention. While fighting each other, Bell, who had slumped, accidentally released her underwear and some important objects. It turns out that there is a diary belonging to Bell, which contains an expression of her love for Staz. Of course, Bell doesn't want Staz to see the book's contents. Finally, Bell has no choice but to admit defeat and promise to take Staz to where Fuyumi is. On the other hand, Braz was brought to the place of the Demon King. The king asked Braz about one of his subordinates who disappeared. It turned out that Braz had previously killed a subordinate of the king and made him a container for a Kimu. Braz declared a declaration of war with the king as revenge because the king had previously killed his parents to get the throne.
Oh, これは私からあなたへの宣戦布告なんですよ.
The king accepted the challenge and gave Braz 3 days to prepare to fight him. After that, he met Burroughs, and Braz immediately diverted his attention so he could take off the necklace.
悪い時に使うお休み草が役に立つとはな。ありがとう。君は優しい子だ。
After the necklace was removed, Burroughs was rendered unconscious. A head guard named Goyle was chasing him when he wanted to escape. Suddenly butted, making Braz fall from a height. Goyle tried to chase Braz, who was hiding in the city, but Braz was looking for an opportunity to beat him. Braz managed to withstand his attacks and even threatened him because he could kill Burroughs, who was unconscious at any time.
これが私の特権魔術。ブラッドストーカーだ。ベロスの寝首くらいには。
Because Goyle couldn't do anything else, he preferred to make peace and talk to each other while eating ice cream. Staz and Bell had arrived at their house, so they met their mother first to confirm their purpose of bringing Fuyumi. When meeting with her mother, Nain, she is the same mother as Fuyumi with Bell. She explained that in the past, while traveling in the human world, she met her twin, who can be called a doppelganger. As a result of that meeting, their bodies became fused with each other. Bell and Fuyumi are certainly sisters. While Staz also felt the same sensation as wanting to suck Fuyumi's blood before. Suddenly, Staz asked Fuyumi what upset Bell and moved him to another place.
お前、もしかして処女ってやつか。おや？
大丈夫、冬美。はい、幸い無傷ですんで。
Then Staz met a dragon, and it turned out that the dragon was Bell's father, named Heads. He wanted to discuss something serious with Staz and asked why Staz wanted to revive Fuyumi. If you just want to suck her blood, then Heads will kill him immediately. Initially, Staz wanted to suck her blood, but now Staz only wants to revive her.
答えろ。なんで冬美を生き返らせたい？
最初はそうだと思ったけどな。嘘でも血は吸わないって言っておけばよかったが。
いや。
Then Heads moved him into his room. He would also approve if Staz wanted to be with Fuyumi. However, some conditions must be met. It is allowed if Fuyumi wants to leave the demon world. The second is if Fuyumi doesn't mind when Staz wants to suck her blood, then it's allowed. The point is everything must be by Fuyumi's wishes without coercion. Heads did that because he had promised Fuyumi's father to take care of her. After Staz agreed to the terms, Heads put cursed food in his mouth so that Staz could not break the agreement. Staz fainted, and when he regained consciousness, beside him was Fuyumi. The two of them were in front of the gate of Bell's house. Fuyumi was only wearing panties because she was suddenly moved there while changing clothes. Then Staz asked if Fuyumi didn't mind coming with him, and it didn't matter if she was revived. Fuyumi happily wants to return to life and always be with Staz. On the other hand, Braz is preparing to resurrect his father to fight the Demon King. And that is the end of the video. Remember to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.